All right, still back here in the recliner, and I'm just thinking about different things and wanted to test this out. I used to be a pretty good artist, but after motorcycle accidents and all other kinds of crazy stuff, my hand doesn't, my left hand doesn't work too good, and my right hand uh, doesn't handle a pen to begin with. But anyway, I just drew a kind of a crouch 2 point stance. This could be anybody. It could be one of those Hayden Fry tight ends or whatever. But in your stance, at least offensive line, even in 3 point, in order to go forwards, backwards, and sideways, your weight has to be over your feet. And you know that everything that we do as a human, okay, is done in circles. Okay, so if this guy keeps his knees bent and he moves his feet backwards, it's going to work like that. Okay, we say all footwork, you start over your feet. Okay, we don't have that D-line stance where the hand's way out here and you got all the weight on it. Okay, so when we practice our footwork, we start with the weight over our feet. Now, this happens to be an illustration of teeter and actually the scoot technique. Okay, what we're doing is we're trying to get our feet behind our weight because it's easier and quicker to move our feet backwards than it is to move our weight forwards. And don't get me wrong, it can be done, but we don't want to move forwards if we have to get in front of somebody who's not in front of us. And that's the key thing. Getting in front, blocking down or at an angle is a different idea. Okay, but if we have to cover somebody, we don't want to gain ground to a guy who's not in front of us, or we'll never get in front of him. So what we do is we move our feet back, but it's important that we not move our weight back. And again, this thing is a circle. So if you wind up with straight legs, I'll go over here. Okay, scoot and teeter. And teeter is an idea of resting inertia, okay, such as you're resting here, and then all of a sudden you throw your legs back behind you, and you just for a split second, you don't collapse. Okay, you know how like Wile E. Coyote, when he goes off the cliff, and he just floats there for a second. You know, it's kind of a joke. You know, and then he falls. Well, teeters is sort of like that. Your weight, your mass resists movement. And just for a split second before gravity takes over, you're teetering when you throw your feet behind your center of gravity. And we've covered this before, but I just want to make sure. Okay. But what we try to do is add gravity. Okay. The avalanche idea, we add gravity to our force. Okay. The gravity's pulling us down, and we want to coil our legs. Okay. Because if we don't coil our legs, we break out of that radius. You see this guy right here? His feet are following the ground, and he's going to follow the ground, or else he'll never be able to go forwards. But if he'll drop his weight by coiling when he follows the ground, he'll be in a new radius, and he won't have straight legs. Okay, we don't want straight legs. Okay, we don't want to lengthen. Okay, it's just like a hockey player standing there on the ice and he has to go fast break. You know, the first thing he does is he throws one skate back, he digs in, and he drops his weight. Okay, he drops his weight to coil. Now, for a while there, way back when, Jim McNally was talking about dipping, and my deal was, well, stay in the dip. Why do you ever want to be in anything but a dip? But you know, that's still a good idea. He noticed a phenomenon when a player, just before he struck somebody, he dipped down, and he's adding gravity. And what he's doing is he's shortening his levers too, so he's adding mechanical advantage by shortening those levers. But he's also, there's a fulcrum on the ground, his foot, and as he lowers himself to the ground and shortens that lever, uh, that force that's pulling him down, the gravity. And I'm not even sure, I just read the other day, they don't even know if gravity is a force, but that force against the fulcrum, him falling forward like a tree trunk, that adds to the force he's going to apply to his opponent. Okay, so that's that. Now, just taking it from, like I said, I used to be a pretty good artist. This is kind of a joke, but I just throw it together. If you're taking some sort of a slide step or a brace step or the beginning of a scoot, okay, we always say that you want to move your foot before you move your center of gravity. Okay, that's the BMW center of gravity thing. You know, BMW was an airplane manufacturer before they were a car manufacturer. Okay, so they kept the propeller. But anyway, you move your foot, and it's the same idea. Your foot's going to follow the radius of your hip socket. Okay, so as you move, you want to condense, you want to coil, and get your weight closer to the ground. And again, all you're doing is you're bringing, you're staying with that bent leg, and you're creating a new arc, a new circle. Okay, and of course you want to coil. But what you don't want to do when you step laterally, okay, you don't want to spill out of your stance by moving your weight first. When your weight goes over your foot, okay, you're spilling or falling out of your stance, okay, and you don't really want to do that because you can't. Once you put your weight here, there's no way for you to push back to anybody. You can't rewind. You can't do anything. So you have to always keep your weight inside your foot, okay? So you want to move your foot. We always used to say, move your foot, move feet before weight, okay? And again, coil or you're going to lengthen. You're going to have long legs. You're going to lose the mechanical advantage, okay? I don't know how that came out. I'll take a look at it. If it's good, I'll post it. If not, I'll see you some other time. Bye.